Winner of the prestigious WIBC Queens, Kim Terrell. St. Clair Shores Classic and Louisville Open champion, Michelle Feldman. Winner of the St. Clair Classic, Kim Adler. Champion of the inaugural PWBA Women's Collegiate Pro Doubles Challenge with partner Melissa Brownie, Kendra Gaines. Winning her first career title at the Greater Terre Haute Open, Brenda Norman. Proving bowling is international, capturing the Harrisburg Open title from Australia, Cara Honeychurch. Winning back-to-back at the Empire State Classic and the Greater Syracuse Classic, Leanne Barrett. Defending her title, winning the Dallas Open, Carolyn Doran Ballard. And winning the Miller High Life National Players Championship after a 4-year drought, Marianne DeRupo. The field of 9 was reduced to just 3 based on their score in a positioning game just completed. Here's a look at some of the key moments. The 9 qualifiers began the night by drawing for position. It came down to the 9th and 10th, except for Michelle Feldman, who threw these shots in the 5th and 6th for a double in Turkey.
And it didn't surprise me a bit that Michelle threw those 2 shots and she never looked back.
Adler threw the strongest game, but this 10th frame took her out of contention.
And that's so unlike Kim to miss a spare, especially in a crucial situation, took her right out of the game.
Brenda Norman looked like a shoo-in until disaster struck in the 9th.
Brenda threw such a crisp, clean shot and unfortunately left the worst bad break in bowling, the 7-10. She got ousted.
Which left the door open for Cara Honeychurch, who pulled together strikes in the 8th, 9th, and 10th.
And this is so like Cara to show up at the end of the game when she absolutely has to string her strikes.
With one more spot open, Kim Terrell put together strikes in the 7th through the 10th, including these 2 shots.
And this is why Kim advances into shows and into the next match by throwing clutch shots as these.
It was enough for Terrell to grab the number 2 spot with a 2:08 behind Feldman's 2:37, and Honeychurch hung on to the final TV position with a score of 2:06. Adler and Norman just missed with a 2:03. Then it was Barrett shooting 194, Doran Ballard with 184, and DeRupo and Gaines having a rough go of it, each posting a score of 167. Coming up next, head-to-head competition, Cara Honeychurch takes on Kim Terrell in the semifinal match. The finals of the Sport Bowling Champions Challenge are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, proud to be the official lodging sponsor of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by Sport Bowling, step up to the challenge. We're ready for the head-to-head competition of the Sport Bowling Challenge. I am Jan Schmidt, along with Kathy Dorn-Lizzie is our expert analyst for the event, and Darlene Baker, WIBC Director and member of the Equipment Specs Committee, is here as our expert on sport bowling. Welcome, Darlene.
Thank you.
Cara Honeychurch is stepping up quickly to start the match. And as she's beginning here, Darlene, give us what the major emphasis of sport bowling is.
The major emphasis of sport bowling is really the difference in how the lane dressing is on the lanes. It's even distribution across the lanes. And so the bowlers really have to depend on their accuracy and their abilities and picking up spares more than just how strong and how powerful they can throw the ball.
And Kathy, we've seen a lot of that throughout the last 2 years with sport bowling conditions, because we've bowled on a lot of sport bowling conditions.
Oh, absolutely, and you'll notice that it definitely made you a better bowler. Definitely a better spare shooter because you're shooting at more spares. At times the scores weren't very high, but you left more knowledgeable and a smarter and better bowler because of sport bowling, without a doubt.
So the positioning match, it was pretty tough. Scores weren't too high for a lot of the players, but Kim Terrell and Cara Honeychurch survived, as well as Michelle Feldman.
And boy, things really changed around in that first match.
That was an interesting lead. Pins moving around.
It looked like a really good shot off Kim's hand, but you can see it hits the oil down the lane. So the ball continued instead of arced into the pocket and left the 2-4-8.
Well, Kim is standing waiting because the rack knocked the pins down. They will have to be respotted. As you notice, they had moved from the pins, but because they were knocked down, they'll be respotted in their original position. So, Darlene, while that's happening, I know I hear a lot of men have really stepped up to the challenge with sport bowling, more than women. Should women join sport bowling?
Women really should step up. It really helps them a lot more develop their skills and be more accurate and really work on their spare bowling. And it's really for all levels of bowlers, lower and higher average. And the one good thing about sport bowling is it gives you the fulfillment of improving yourself and really working on your abilities.
And she covers up that spare. In fact, Darlene, I've heard many times people say that sport bowling is almost more geared to women because their game is more accuracy and less power. So they could probably adapt to sport bowling easier.
That's right. A lot of women can because they do have to depend on their spare shooting more.
So how successful has it been with the WIBC members?
Well, sport bowling in WIBC has really reached a milestone this year. We actually have the Ladies Scratch Trio League in the Brunswick-Watauga lanes in Watauga, Texas as the first all-women sport bowling league. And so that's a real milestone for WIBC and sport bowling. And it continues to grow.
Well, that's good to hear. And Cara leaving a 7-pin there. These two ladies both having a good year and good last couple of years.
I think it's more beneficial to women in a lot of ways because women keep it simple.
I think so.
Women keep it simple and basic because we're not power players, the majority of us. But men and women, both, it will improve your spare game 100%.
So Cara stepping up in the third frame. Score still all even. Maximum score possible for both players, 280, and that on our scoreboard sponsored by Travelodge Hotels. Light 10-pin, and this is going to be the first of 10 weeks, so we'll have a long fall swing scheduled. Kathy, you think the women are up to it, 10 weeks of bowling?
Yeah, we did it last year. We can do it again this year. I think the women look forward to the fall, too. I think they enjoy the change of season and the certain places that we go at that time of year. I certainly always look forward to the fall. Maybe that's why I bowl a little better in the fall. I don't know.
Well, you've been bowling pretty good so far this year already.
So far, so good.
Oh, that was close. Almost missing that spare. And using a spare ball, as you have always said, Kathy, it goes where you want it to go.
Yeah, it's the only ball that you'll know every time where it's going. It's going exactly where you throw it.
Kim Terrell off to a great year. 6 telecasts prior to this event for the season was her career high for a whole year. And we were only halfway through when she hit that 6th mark. Darlene, is the acceptance of sport bowling growing just generally?
It really is. After just finishing the first year, we anticipated having 50 sport bowling leagues. We ended up with 139. So the participation the first year has really exceeded our expectations. The acceptance also has been a lot better, I think, thanks to the PWBA and the PBA, you know, working with us and really using the sport bowling patterns and promoting that, as well as some of the other upper echelon tournaments, and that really helps people become more aware of it.
And I know, though, we sometimes get comments and feedback, and people do not want to watch some of the best women bowlers in the world score below what they would like to see them score. But if they haven't ever bowled on a sport condition, it's hard for them to judge because they can't see what they're bowling on. So
that's right.
But really, we are just trying to show the credibility and show how talented these women really are, because it sets them apart from the average league bowler.
And if you can get a few sport bowling leagues in different centers in one area, the different types of surface will dictate. Some weeks you may bowl well one place, some weeks you may bowl well at another. A lot of components filter into how you're going to learn to bowl on a sport condition. So it's very important for people to understand that week to week the scores may be low, but every so often we had higher scores because we were in a different center, the weather was different. There's so many components that go into a tournament. Now, Cara got that right of target. As you can see, there's not enough hold to the left, so it really hooked to the right. It was not a very good shot for her, leaving just the 4-pin. Easy spare for her. It's good to see Cara back on the lane. She had little trouble last swing, not feeling very well, took a week off. She withdrew from a tournament. So it's good to see her looking good and feeling better and out there bowling the challenge.
Exactly. She didn't bowl the last event of the summer, so these two ladies, a very close match right now. Cara Honeychurch trails by 2 pins. They have never met on television before, so it's anybody's guess. As I said, both on a very good season. Cara Honeychurch with 5 shows already. Kim Terrell with 6 shows already, and now that's a tough spare. Makeable for the professional.
Yes. Now that one she seemed to keep out to the left more. It actually looked like a better shot when she let it go. But you can see it's a tougher condition. She leaves the washout. But this is makeable. Cara is an excellent spare shooter. That's why you see these girls 6, 7, 8 times a year, because they make all their spares and splits.
Oh, and she should have had that. That was an excellent shot at that washout.
Cara's a big fan of the plastic ball, shoots it at all her spares. She gets just to the right of the head pin, gets the 3 hard ones, and just lays in front of the 7 pin. She should have had that spare. It was a great shot.
Crossing over, and a few of those breaks in our opening game, the positioning round, right before we came on air, a few of those breaks happened throughout that game as well. Right now, Kim Terrell, though, 3 strikes on lane 14.
And 2 of them have been Brooklyn. The last 2 have been Brooklyn, and she Brooklyned to have a 3-bagger to get her here, practically. It was a key shot. But then, of course, knowing Kim as well as we do, she follows the 3rd one up with a flush shot.
Mm-hmm. And of course, now in the pocket leaves the 10 pin.
But that's so Kim. She can throw a bad shot and then get right back up and pretend that bad shot never happened, and she throws one just crisp and clean. But you can see the oil is carrying down. Takes her ball a little longer to recover. That's why she left the 10 pin.
So she covers the 10 pin up and is clean through 6 frames. Through 5.5, Kim Terrell has the lead by 17. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us. Welcome back to Louisville, Kentucky, the home of Churchill Downs. Right now, Kim Terrell in the lead. Honeychurch trailing by 17. She'll be stepping up in the 6th frame. Just had that washout, that open frame. Kathy, a good attempt at it. Didn't take it out, though. Darlene, while you're still with us, get out your crystal ball. What does the future hold for sport bowling?
Well, I think it's continual evaluation of the requirements for sport bowling. There have already been some changes thanks to the feedback we've received from the PWBA, the PBA, and those that have participated. So that's going to continue and make sure that it really does stay a challenge and that it is something that can help bring back the credibility of the sport. And promotion, and try to get as many people involved as we can, and hope that they realize that sport bowling really is the challenge that a bowler needs to help improve their game.
And if that's not where you want to go, recreational bowling, the standard league bowling is still available everywhere. This is an option for people.
This is an option for the members of ABC and WIBC. The standard shot on the regular leagues are still out there. It's not being taken away at all.
Cara Honeychurch with a balk actually was distracted by something down the lane. Still trailing by 17, but with a strike here, she can take it to 7. Important shot. Didn't even look that bad. I didn't think it was going that high.
That was a much better shot. Now she might have adjusted. I'm sure she did, because remember she washed out the previous shot on lane 13. But it looks good there. Definitely didn't get it out as far left as she did before. Just comes up a little high. Leaves the 6-7. That's a bad break. She didn't deserve that.
Well, Darlene, for people that want to find out more about joining or forming a sport bowling league, how do they go about it?
Well, you can go on the web, sportbowling.com, or there is a link on bowl.com, or you can call 800-514-BOWL, extension 3400, or you can ask your proprietor about starting a sport bowling league, or if they have any already established that you can join.
Okay, and I hope people do try it, and they're not always the same. Sport bowling is parameters. It's not a specific condition. It can be different in different houses.
That's right. That's one of the things a lot of people still don't understand. Sport bowling is not one particular type of pattern. You can adjust the links. You can adjust the amount of oil out there. It has to be a 2-to-1 ratio, and that's what really makes the big difference compared to a standard house shot. And the conditions of the lanes, synthetics or wood, makes a difference on how they carry too. And that's what makes it so good, to be able to really develop your skills and get better.
So Kim Terrell continues to be perfect, at least on the scoreboard, on the right lane, lane 14. And lane 13 has not struck yet. Kathy, I know a lot of the women bowlers have said, as well as you, I think, and many others, that it has actually made them better bowlers, the professionals even, the sport bowling.
Definitely on the professional level, men and women. If anyone doesn't feel that it made them a better bowler, I feel they're missing the boat. Because you're going to have to withstand the 150s, the 160 games on any condition. But the sport bowling condition definitely overall made everyone a better bowler, because it improved your spare game, because you were shooting at more spares. And then when you got on a shot that was more conducive to your A game, you whacked them, because you didn't have to, muddle around so much. You rose above to the next level because of sport bowling.
Cara Honeychurch with a much needed strike in the 8th frame. She's trailing by 29 pins. She could take it to 19 if she can double up in the 9th.
Cara is very basic and very simple. What we were talking about, what is so great about sport bowling. 4-step delivery, nice knee bend, nice straight arm swing. Another one who really gets through her shots, so her ball never really hooks early. And boy, is she accurate. She can hit a dime.
Oh, and a big break. Really had to have that strike.
She did, and I believe she moved a little right because of the split. Great shot between 5 and 10, the first and second arrow. Tripping out that 6-pin there at the end, but one of the better shots on lane 13 for her.
So Cara Honeychurch could strike out for 201. If that were to happen, the Dutch 200 pace that Kim Terrell is on would not be enough. And now she doesn't strike on lane 14. Leaving a 2-pin, though she had struck every time. As you said, she really wasn't completely lined up on that lane. A couple of Brooklyns to get her through. But right now she'll need to spare this up and step up in the 10th. She'll need a double to shut out Cara Honeychurch.
We bowled on the sport condition last year, And when I went home and bowled in league, and we bowled on the sport condition, people were amazed. I still shot 650, 660 for 3 games. But I had so much practice on it.
Right.
And that's what was so amazing, was it really did make you a better bowler, because then when you go and you see it somewhere else that you're not accustomed to seeing it, it relaxed you. It wasn't so difficult. But that you want to have that, you want to be able to get that out of it.
Absolutely.
And doesn't carry the 10 out. She needed the first 2 strikes in order to shut out Honeychurch. So Cara Honeychurch will have an opportunity when she steps up.
Once again, Jan, these games are changing hands right at the end. Really nice shot by Kim. Comes up just a little light, but light's been carrying better for Kim. She still leaves the 10 pin.
Spares it up. And get as much wood as she can and sit down and wait. Nothing she can do. Darlene, while we have a minute, I want to thank you for being with us and coming up and kind of sharing the inside scoop on sport bowling.
Well, thanks so much for letting me be here. I really want a lot of people to realize that sport bowling is something that's for anybody, not just the higher average bowlers, and I really appreciate the opportunity to be here and help do that.
Well, thank you. Thanks for coming out, and it'll be interesting to watch and see what happens. You will stay down there and watch the championship match.
You bet I am.
So Kim Terrell finishes up with a score of 197. Cara Honeychurch will need a double and 7 pins to defeat Kim Terrell. Not to be today for Cara Honeychurch.
She looked a little off on that too when she started. It seemed as though she took a little extra time, and then it looked as though she was a little late when she got started, and the result is you pull through and you go high.
Well, and she's probably not quite as sharp as she would have been, because I don't think she got as much bowling in as she wanted to with not being well over the last few weeks.
We'll be seeing more of Cara, though. I could guarantee it.
Oh, did she take the tour by storm? Rookie of the Year and then runner-up to Player of the Year the following year with 4 titles last season. Kim Terrell survives that match with a score of 197 to 178. When we come back, we'll bring you more on sport bowling in this week's WIBC Extra Frames. Sport Bowling is a program created by the Women's International Bowling Congress and the American Bowling Congress that places skill ahead of technology. It's about improving your game and controlling your own success on the lanes. Advancements in equipment and lane conditioning techniques have changed bowling, often putting technology ahead of skill. In sport bowling, the lanes are dressed with a more even distribution of oil to make it fair and challenging for all bowlers. Sport bowlers rely on consistency, accuracy, ability to read lanes, and spare shooting rather than relying on high-tech bowling balls or forgiving lane conditions. In this way, sport bowling is returning credibility to the sport. Sport bowling offers sanctioned leagues focusing on skill and improvement, plus provides competitive tournaments at the local, state, and national levels.
Sport bowling is a new membership option that's available to WIBC and ABC bowlers who want to step up to the challenge. Although the higher average bowlers will be drawn to this challenge, this is a program that's designed for bowlers of all skill levels. Emphasis is placed on accuracy, solid techniques, and spare shooting, which are the strengths of women bowlers.
Sport bowling's exclusive awards are available for honor scores, 11 strikes in a row, and special achievements. This attractive crystal bowling pin will be presented to WIBC and ABC members who roll honor scores and who record the highest sport bowling average based on at least 33 games. to start or find a sport bowling league in your area or to get additional information, visit sportbowling.com. Final score of the semifinal match, Kim Terrell 197 to Honeychurch's 178. So coming up next, Kim Terrell goes up against, you guessed it, it's Louisville. Who else but Michelle Feldman to name the champion's champion. Crystal bowling pin for the Sport Bowling Champions Challenge champion. Either Michelle Feldman or Kim Terrell will walk away with that crystal pin here at Fern Valley Strike and Spare in Louisville, Kentucky. And Kathy, this looks like something we just saw a few weeks ago.
A rematch between Michelle and Kim. You know, if Michelle keeps winning in Louisville and their trophy is always a crystal bowling pin, she could probably set up her own lane.
Yeah, she'll have 10. Exactly. Michelle Feldman winning the last 3 times in Louisville, Kentucky. Top seed here. And Kim Terrell, runner-up at the Louisville Open. Not the way she wants to start.
No, but that looked like a good shot off her hand between the lanes. They've had some play on them. Could be changing. Really nice, smooth release. Just jumped there right at the end. That was a really good shot. Right up until the end, it just jumped. Unfortunately, big 4, but she'll take the 2 pins. And as we've seen with Kim, it will come down to needing those 2 pins.
As a rule, her matches come down to the 10th frame every time. Well, in the positioning game, she just made it in.
Just made it. Kim Adler bowled a great game. She actually bowled the best game out of everybody.
She did.
Missed the 10 pin in the 10th frame to not make it. Kim Brooklyn on a strike to have a double, then threw a good one. I mean, it was just unbelievable.
Well, here's the best way not to miss the 10 pin.
Watch the way these pins go. I mean, she just blew them around, but light carries so much better sometimes for Kim.
Head pin off the wall and going high now. Michelle 610.
Lane 14 could just be breaking down a little bit.
But again, we get into the factor of Michelle Feldman, Louisville, Kentucky. It doesn't phase her. Boy, that must be a comfortable feeling to have.
Oh, I'd give anything, Jan, to know what that feels like.
Just to go to a city and go,
Oh, I know I'm going to make it.
I know I'll win.
No problem.
Oh,
No matter what. The roll on her ball is not only heavy, it's a pure roll. It's just so clean. It's really beautiful to watch for a young lady. She snaps through it there. You can see her clenched fist when she comes through it. And as though she clenches, her ball projection is always to the right, but her roll is always pure. It's really, really amazing to watch.
well, she grew up trying to out-hook the boys, is how she put it to us, and
She did.
she did. Sent many of them home. Kim Terrell now trailing by 11 pins. Kim won that big WIBC Queens to start the season. That's how she qualified for this event. That right after winning the U.S. Open, the largest purse in women's bowling history, $55,000 on top.
Kim has a very basic, classic style. Pushes away on her first step, as you can see. Lets the ball drop. Look at her head, never moves. Beautiful right there. Everything in line. Perfect timing. Head never moved. Right foot swings over, never raises off the ground, which means she's always low to the line, which will create length in the front part of the lane for your ball, which means it'll conserve more energy on the back end, which most girls need, because we don't throw it like Michelle.
Right, exactly. You need as much hit as possible, and most of the women now have gone to lighter bowling equipment because there's bowling equipment so much stronger. They know they don't have the extra weight anymore either. They're throwing 15 pounds, most of them. No one throws 16 anymore, or very few.
Right. She comes up high on lane 13, leaving the 310. Baby split. This one never got right of target. Kind of went a little too direct down the lane, and there was no way it was going to stay on the right. It's a tougher condition out there.
Definitely not what we saw in this bowling center for the Louisville Open back in August. Now, Terrell is 0-3 career on television versus Feldman. So when they both made it to the show and faced each other, Michelle Feldman has dominated. Feldman up by 13.
Well, and Kim's great. She's another fan of the plastic ball, right in between the 310. Perfect spare.
Michelle coming up light. Now, Kathy, most of the women are fans of the plastic ball, aren't they, for spares? Most of them?
Oh, I hope so. When I first came out on tour, I hooked at everything because I was young and didn't know any better. And you don't think you're going to be able to have a straight enough arm swing to throw at your spares with a plastic ball, because you have to remember it's the only ball that goes where you throw it. Because of its cover, it's plastic. It's not going to grab the lane. I would say 99 out of 100 women throw a plastic ball at their spares. You'll be a 10 times better spare shooter because of it.
Well, we told you this kicked off a 10-week swing for PWBA, so join us next Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern as Michelle Feldman attempts to defend her Three Rivers Open title from Princess Lanes in Pittsburgh, PA. In 10 events at Princess Lanes, there's only been one repeat champion, and it was Carolyn Doran Ballard. Michelle Feldman will attempt to do that. Kathy, you also are a champion at Princess Lanes.
I love Pennsylvania. I make a good buck in Pennsylvania. I don't know what it is.
Kim Terrell now up in the 5th after just converting that 310 split. She trails now by 12 pins.
Once again, she didn't get it right. You have to get it right, but you have to get it right properly. Unfortunately, she looks a little tight because you can't just swing it right, because there is an out-of-bounds area where the oil is. But unfortunately, she'll have to get it right more than this. That never got to where it needed to be, and it grabs. Grabs on the back. It's going to go high every time.
Covers it up, and Kathy Kim's been doing a lot of work and still continues to do work with a coach and with a sports psychologist, and really works hard on the mental aspect as well as the physical. That's really turned her game around, and a lot of the women are beginning to do that, do a lot of work with the sports psychology end.
Like Dr. Dean Hinnett's excellent sports therapist. Kim really focuses on her mental. She feels that that is one of the biggest assets to her game as of right now. Really focusing on staying in the moment. Don't think ahead. Don't think of what's already been done. It's huge and so important, and it takes a lot of focus to stay in the moment. But boy, has she turned herself around because of it.
These women are in condition. They work hard just like other athletes. All aspects of sports. Covers up that spare, and we're midway through the championship match. Feldman is up by 15. We'll take care of some business and be right back to name a champion. Challenge. We're in the middle of the championship match at Fern Valley Strike and Spare in Louisville, Kentucky. I'm Jan Schmidt along with Kathy Doran Lizzie. Michelle Feldman in the lead by 15 pins. Surprise. Do you think it's possible that Michelle Feldman could win a 4th time in Louisville, Kentucky?
Yes. No hesitation.
Okay, think about that a minute, would you?
Well, look at her, though. She looks confident. She looks comfortable. 2 killer instincts right there.
Coming up high, and she says, okay, thank you. The 10 pin's gone. It still is a very close match.
And see, Michelle really stays behind her shots, which is awesome for someone that cranks it as much as she does, to really stay behind it. But I think lane 14 is obviously hooking more on the back because both ladies are going hard.
Well, I want to take a minute and thank Art Higgs, the general manager here at Fern Valley Strike and Spare, as well as Larry Schmidt, the owner, for hosting 2 events here. It's a wonderful bowling center, and we're glad to be a part of it.
Friendliest people in Louisville.
3 tournaments she's won, 98, 2000, 2002, and that could have been a big one right there.
Well, her ball has so much power. But every once in a while, it hits like one of ours. You see the 710 standing there. Once again, I don't know what pin it was, but it rolls around and knocks out the 10 to only leave her the 7 pin, which is huge, to only have a 9 spare, when it could have been a devastating frame for her.
Exactly, a 14-pin match would have been almost even.
That's what happened to Brenda Norman. Brenda Norman left a blower 7-10 on a strike. Changed the whole outcome for her.
Right, she would have probably been in this match otherwise. Or the semifinal match.
One frame changes it all. Again,
Like
Kim
that.
goes high, and I'll tell you, that looked like such a good shot when she let it go. She definitely made an adjustment. She moved in, got the ball right. I didn't see anything wrong with that ball. They're just really jumping at the back end. You can see it as the ball starts to arc into the pocket. It really grabs. But it's doing it for both of them. Unfortunately, Kim's not getting away with the break.
She's not. Is having a really, as we talked about, good year. Actually, her lowest finish the entire season is 16th. That's pretty strong. Max score for Feldman, 227. Max score possible for Terrell, 199. That's if they strike out.
Very nice shot. A little high, leaves the 4 pin. Well, Kim told us in her interviews, though, previously, I intend to make the cut every week. And if I don't make the show, I am disappointed.
Yeah, and that's been a change for her. She used to expect to be in the top 10, and she said that's exactly what I got. And that goes to what we talked about a few weeks ago, it's the role you put yourself in.
The role you put yourself in. If you put yourself in the role of bowling fearful, you're not going to make it. And unfortunately, you should know that going into it. You have to put yourself in the role of the survivor, going out there loose and aggressive.
And you have to see yourself as one of those top players. If you don't see yourself that way, there's no way.
Yes, you absolutely have to make yourself worthy of being a winner out here. And you will bowl as a winner.
Well, right now, Feldman not liking what she sees.
Now, it's very ironic. On lane 14, the lane they've both been going high, Michelle obviously made the move left, really got the ball right, and it didn't come back. She leaves the 2-8-10. You can see her ball really skidded down the lane in the conditioner. Whereas if anybody's ball was going to grab to recover, it would have been hers, and
Exactly.
it didn't.
Right. So with that open frame, she has 142 in the 8th, but still in the lead by 13 pins.
Now everybody has to remember too, on certain sport conditions, on tougher conditions, ball speed and surface is very important. If your ball's too shiny, too dull, you throw it too hard or too soft, everything matters on a tougher condition. You can see that here.
Everything is magnified. Any little change or mistake is magnified.
Every mistake you'll pay for. That's why you have to be a good spare shooter. Remember, we've said over and over in the past, Jan, clean games win tournaments.
And they've won many of them
tournaments
this
with
year
not
and
high
last
games.
year.
Yes.
Right.
Now she opted to throw her strike ball at the spare. Very interesting. She covers it with ease.
She threw it at a couple of 2 pins also. Up until this event, prior to this break, she had been throwing a spare ball at almost everything. I even saw her throw a spare ball at double wood back in the summer, which is not always recommended.
No. Unless you can throw it as hard as she can.
Right, exactly. So Feldman, the best she could shoot is 192. Terrell, 189. Big shot here.
Really nice shot by Kim.
Finally trips the four.
He trips the four pin. That's the best shot so far on that lane. And she got the break. You can tell she's moved in. Look at how far left her body is. Finally gets her ball projection right enough so it doesn't jump as hard, but you can still see how it jumped at the end to trip the four. So 14 is really jumping on the back.
So big 10th frame coming up here. Kim Terrell. If she strikes out or throws the double, she can force Feldman to double.
Very important just to make good shots.
Looks like a good one.
That was really good.
She trusted that one. I thought it would finish a bit more.
Important spare here. Very light. Blows the pins around, but nothing even gets close to tapping out the 10.
Spare it if she fills it up. Not the kind of score she wanted, but it would be 169. Michelle Feldman would need 9 on her first ball. And she wouldn't actually have to shoot the spare. 9 out would be 170. Count won't help her there. 167 for Kim Terrell. So Michelle Feldman needs to knock down 8 pins on this first shot.
What do you think, Jan, the odds?
No, she had 7 the last 2 shots. The last 2 frames.
But it's Louisville.
Oh, that's right. 8 pins. Okay. If she gets less, she'd have to maybe spare it. It's Louisville, you're right. A strike for Michelle Feldman. She's looking at the score. I don't, obviously not happy. You're never happy to, perform at that score. A professional doesn't want to shoot these type of games. However, it's been tough and.
No, but on a sport condition, a 180 game is huge. It's a huge game on certain conditions, but you're right.
One final shot for Michelle Feldman. And she grabs the Sport Bowling Champions Challenge, and once again in Louisville. That's 4 wins for Michelle Feldman in Louisville, Kentucky. Final score, 182 to 167. There's more to come. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The finals of the Sport Bowling Champions Challenge are being brought to you by the Women's International Bowling Congress, striving for 87 years to identify and fulfill the needs of women bowlers. By Travelodge Hotels, proud to be the official lodging sponsor of the Professional Women's Bowling Association. And by Sport Bowling, step up to the challenge. There is the winner, the Sport Bowling Champions Challenge, Michelle Feldman, winning yet again in Louisville, Kentucky. With the trophy, Darlene Baker, WIBC Director. And with the check, Barbara Bates, WIBC's 5th Vice President. So Michelle Feldman wins again in Louisville. Tune in next Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern for the Three Rivers Open from Princess Lanes in Pittsburgh, PA. For Kathy, Dora, and Lizzie, I'm Jan Schmidt. We hope you enjoyed another look at the Spring-Summer 2002 champions. So long from Louisville, Kentucky. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.